Peru News Today. All you need to know about Peru.
Blanca Arellano Case, the Mexican woman who disappeared in Peru. Blanca Arellano Gutiérrez traveled to Lima on July 27 to meet with Juan Pablo Villafuerte, whom she met in the virtual game. However, on November 7, the family reported him missing. Mexican Blanca Arellano Gutiérrez traveled to Lima on July 27 to meet with Juan Pablo Villafuerte, whom she met in the virtual game Fortnite. Blanca met Juan through a video game platform. They even shared related topics in a Facebook group called Retro Games, which curiously was managed by both of them. Since the beginning of the pandemic, they both had a gaming platform called Fornite, a well-known multiplayer video game, where he was an administrator, Juan Villafuerte, and he made Blanca an administrator. This person told her that she did not have a partner and they struck up a friendship. Mercedes Gaytán, a friend of the missing foreigner, told El Comercio. Network records showed that Blanca and Juan shared moments from a distance. An example of this were their birthdays, celebrated via Facebook, where messages of encouragement were sent from each party. Now everything was going well in the relationship until November 7 when her family stopped hearing from her. Since then, she has been missing. This is what we know. After not hearing from her, Carla Arellano, Blanca's niece, contacted Villafuerte, who told her that she had left him because she couldn't give him the life she wanted and that she had left for Lima. Surprised, she insisted, because her aunt was not answering her cell phone either, to which he responded that maybe she changed the chip. Finally, he told her to leave him alone, claiming that he no longer had anything to do with her. Villafuerte, 37, rejected on his social networks having a romantic relationship with Blanca, despite the fact that there is evidence to the contrary. According to him, she was a homeless person that he helped and that she had mental problems. That's where our fear skyrocketed. My mind began to vomit thoughts. Just leave like that? Did your chip stop working? For me this didn't make any sense. My aunt would not disappear just like that, ever, and Leslie without warning. When I asked her more questions about the situation, she told me the following, said the young woman. Juan Pablo Villafuerte Pinto denies knowing anything about Blanca's disappearance and indicates that she left her side by mutual agreement. I couldn't give her the life she wanted and well, in short, she got bored of me. That's where my role ended. I hope it goes well for her, he reads in the conversation. He argues that on Sunday my aunt decided to return to Mexico. They were in Huacho and she left for Lima to later leave for Mexico, but that has not happened, added Carla. On November 9, fishermen from the port of Huacho, the same town where Blanca and Juan Pablo lived, found the head of a woman whose face was erased. Hours later, they found an arm with a ring on one of the fingers, which lacked fingerprints. A day later, at the end of an irrigation canal that flows into the sea, in that same place, a back without organs appeared. Blanca's family asked the Mexican authorities for help, who were in contact with their Peruvian counterparts to find out the news about the case. On Monday the 14th, experts determined that the ring found in the remains washed up on the beach matched one that Blanca was wearing in a photo. Blanca's family was asked to move to Peru to do a DNA test, since they could not establish the identity of the remains found for the reasons already mentioned. The woman who rents Villafuerte's room in Huacho, where she lived with Blanca, contradicted him and pointed out that, in effect, he and she had a relationship. A tour carried out by El Comercio confirmed that in front of door 1 of the Jose Faustino Sanchez Carrion National University, where Villafuerte studies human medicine, there is an irrigation canal that goes down to the beach with a strong flow, the same one where the torso was found. Without women's organs. Neighbors stated that they always throw bags there due to the flow. This place is also a few blocks from the home that the medical student occupied with Blanca. Asked about this issue, criminalistics Dr. Danny Humpire said the cuts made on the face of the skull found on the beach correspond to a person with experience using surgical instruments, since it would have been made with a thin-bladed scalpel and a lifting technique of skin. Furthermore, it is a cut without irregularities. He explained that it is evident that an attempt was made to erase the identity of the victim, but said that the perpetrator made mistakes because he did not remove the dental prosthesis. the ring and the ears, which are key to identification. Experts from the Peruvian National Police established that the ring found in the remains washed up on a beach in Huacho and the one worn by the Mexican Blanca Arellano Gutiérrez before she disappeared do match. In dialogue with Canal N, the police commander, Elvis Baños Valverde, head of the Dependencia of Huacho, explained that the images of the ring found on the body were homologated with the photos provided by a relative of the foreigner. Through a forensic digital video examination, the ring found on the victim's finger has been approved, and the approval has been made with the photos from the social networks that the niece of this Mexican citizen has provided us. The examination has been carried out correspondingly and effectively matches the ring that belongs to the person, said the officer. In addition, he announced that the skull tissues of the woman found in a beach in Huacho will be subjected to a DNA test along with the samples provided by the relatives of Blanca Arellano Gutiérrez, who will arrive in the coming days. He highlighted that part of the victim's fingers were mutilated to prevent her from being identified through fingerprints. The Mexican woman's odontogram will also be compared with the false teeth found on her body. The family members will also analyze whether or not the tattoos that are located on the torso of the body are the same ones that the foreigner got years ago. Blanca's family said that they both lived in Huacho, very close to the beach. Finding herself unable to locate her niece, Carla Arellano, contacted Juan Pablo to ask him about her aunt, but he only gave incoherent answers. This raised suspicions in the family. The head of the Dependencia of Huacho stressed that the main suspect in the crime is Juan Pablo Jesus Villafuerte Pinto, who is a student studying medicine at the Faustino Sanchez Carrion National University. The woman who rented them a room in Huacho also recognized the relationship between them. A tour carried out by El Comercio confirmed that in front of door 1 of the Jose Faustino Sanchez Carrion National University, where Villafuerte studies, there is an irrigation canal that goes down to the beach with a strong flow, the same one where the torso without organs was found. Of the woman, neighbors stated that they always throw bags there due to the flow. This place is also a few blocks from the home that the medical student occupied with Blanca. For criminology Dr. Danny Humpire, the cuts made on the face of the skull found on the beach correspond to a person with experience using surgical instruments, since they would have been made with a thin-bladed scalpel and a skin-lifting technique. Furthermore, it is a cut without irregularities. He explained that it is evident that an attempt was made to erase the victim's identity, but errors were made because he did not remove the dental prosthesis, the ring and the ears, which are key to identification. Juan Pablo not only contradicted himself on social networks, but also took advantage of his right to remain silent when he was summoned to the Dependencia de Huacho for the disappearance of Blanca. PNP Colonel Luis Santos Villar explained that the experts established the similarity between the ring found in the remains washed up on a beach in Huacho and the one Blanca was wearing in a photo. The prosecutor's office reported that forensic medicine will carry out the necessary tests, including DNA, to determine the identity of the remains, which are presumed to correspond to a missing Mexican citizen. Given that suspicions were increasing, on Monday the 14th Villafuerte was summoned to testify at the Police Investigation Operational Center, Dependencia. However, he took advantage of his right to remain silent and, according to witnesses, as soon as he left there he left for Lima. Even at one point during the interrogation he said that he did not know where he lived. However, the owner of the room that she rented to the subject confirmed to the police that Juan Pablo Jesus Villafuerte Pinto and Blanca Arellano Gutiérrez did have a relationship, since she revealed that she found them on one occasion inside the property. On Tuesday the 15th, the authorities searched Villafuerte's home in Huacho. There they found a Mexican flag, hair and traces of blood when applying luminol. The judiciary issued a preventive detention order against Villafuerte, who is being investigated for the alleged crimes of femicide, human trafficking and organ trafficking. Blanca Arellano's case reached its final stages. The judiciary sentenced Juan Pablo Villafuerte to 35 years in prison for the feminicide of the Mexican citizen, in November 2022, in the city of Huacho, province of Jara. Through its social networks, the organization reported that the verdict was issued by the Provincial Supracollegiate Criminal Court of the Court of Jara in a judgment advance hearing. From the Huacho prison, where he was serving preventive detention for this same case, the medical student participated virtually in the hearing and listened when Judge Rene Alguin read his ruling. In his presentation, the magistrate determined that the crime of organ trafficking does not exist, as the prosecution charged Villafuerte. He stressed that the representative of the public ministry could not present sufficient elements of conviction regarding this, so it was dismissed. That is only a subjective assessment of the public ministry. It is true that the vital organs of that person were not found, but there is no corroboration that these organs have been trafficked or had any destination, Alguin explained. The argument for the sentence imposed by Judge Alguin falls mainly on the crime of femicide and the cruelty with which it was committed. For the ruling, it was taken into account that Villafuerte used his knowledge in human medicine to dismember the body of the 57-year-old foreigner, with whom he had a romantic relationship. The magistrate accepted the prosecutor's thesis that the accused dismembered Blanca Arellano to disappear her crime and act as if nothing had happened, in order to continue her romantic relationship with a Peruvian woman in metropolitan Lima. One of the most important clues to hand down the sentence were the foreigner's belongings, found in the room of a lodging in Huacho, where she lived with the medical student. Among the things was a Mexican flag, the victim's clothing and shoes. The stories of those close to the couple also served to corroborate that Villafuerte and Arellano had a romantic relationship. At all times, he not only denied that he committed the femicide, but also that he had a relationship with her. When he was placed under preventive detention, Villafuerte allegedly attempted feminicide. Furthermore, he had written a letter in which he claimed that he was innocent. Even if they decide to imprison me, unjustly and damage my life, I have decided, before they continue harming my family and my mother, to end my existence as a person of principles. This will be a fight that I will not be able to overcome, and I will not endure the humiliation of being paraded around like an animal, just as they are calling me, he wrote. In November 2022, Peru was shocked by the discovery of severed parts of a body that belonged to a woman in the Huacho Sea. The case went around the world and prompted national and Mexican authorities to intervene.
Peru News Today. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.